So this went on between Brad and I for some time, a few months, until one night I was presented with a lawyer, who read to me that due to my actions and my bias towards Brad West, I was to be suspended.
So we ensure that EPW management also bar you from any EPW event for the term of your suspension. With your suspension becoming effective immediately. Jack Brubank, you are relieved of your duties tonight. You may leave the building. Thank you very much.
I got Jack Brubank suspended simply because he was constantly sticking his nose in my business unfairly. I was winning matches, I was beating people, and he was consistently overturning the decisions.
I came back after the suspension at Evolution, and I sort of realised that the best way to deal with Brad West was to not play his games and not try and antagonise him and not be baited by Brad West. I felt the best way to deal with Brad was to let his matches do the talking. At night one of Evolution, I saw Devlin Reeves hand yet another loss to Brad West, and I thought that, you know, this would truly turn Brad around. After so many losses, he would finally see the error of his ways and come back around. But it turns out that loss was what sent Brad over the edge. After all this, on the second night of Evolution, after a loss the night before, Brad West came to me in the ring and apologised for his behaviour and apologised for his actions.
This whole issue between us is getting in the way of my wrestling career. This issue between us is getting in between the way you commentate and the way you run this promotion. And I don't expect anybody here or you, Brubank, to think I'm being sincere right now. And I want this to be over so I can concentrate on my wrestling career.
I mean, I was extremely pleased to hear those words come out of Brad's mouth. I thought truly he'd seen the error of his ways, and like a gentleman, I extended my hand and shook his.
And then it was quite simple. I put you over those ropes and I cut that ponytail off. I got the clippers and I shaved your head. Just to make an example out of you, to let you know that people do not screw around with Brad West.
He took my hair. He made a mockery of me in front of the fans of Explosive Pro Wrestling, and I watched the tapes back and I was shocked. You see, Brad West, he tried to take my dignity and my pride that night. He tried to beat me into some sort of submission, but it didn't work. It didn't work, and I realised that night that this was only going to end one way.
Jack Brubank has been quoted as saying that I was the one that made this personal. I guess you can say that's right, because this is the man who tried to take professional wrestling away from me.
After that night, I took some time off. I went away and thought about things a lot. I did a lot of thinking. I heard reports of Brad West gloating about what he did to me at Evolution, parading my hair out in front of fans and being completely happy with his actions at Evolution. When I knew I was going to come back to Explosive Pro Wrestling, I knew I only had one goal in mind, and that was to get my hands on Brad West. At Winter Warfare, Brad West called me out again, so I answered his call.
I call Jack Brubank out, but he's not going to come because he is a giant pussy. So take a look at this face, Brubank, because this is the face of the guy that put you out of the wrestling business. Hold on 1 second. This is the face of the guy that has put you out. Oh, look.
Look at this, I wonder what he looks like without this. What are you going to do?
The only thing that stood between me and Brad that night was his bodyguard, Big Ben Pen Hero, so I dropped him.
I stand before you, Brad, no longer as a member of the board of directors. I stand before you merely a man. The question you have to ask yourself, Brad, are you a man? Are you man enough to face me one-on-one? You see, Brad West, I'm about to make all of your dreams come true because I challenge you to a wrestling match.
Stipulation number 1. If I beat you, when I beat you, you can never return to the board of directors again. Number 2, you have to beat an opponent of my choosing right here, right now. What do you say, Brubank?
Ladies and gentlemen, as a result of disqualification, here is your winner, Jack Brubank.
That's right, baby.
So after all that, I finally get my chance to meet Brad West one-on-one at Reawakening.
Some people think I've orchestrated a situation that I can't handle. At Reawakening 6, coincidentally, my 6th match at Reawakening, I'm going to be stepping in the ring against someone who's never had a match. Someone who may have been training hard, who may have his mind so into this that he thinks he's actually got a chance. But at Reawakening 6, I am walking out of this the winner. There is no way Jack Brubank can pin my shoulders to the mat for 3 seconds. And the fact is, when I walk out of that building the winner, Jack Brubank will no longer be on the board of directors and he will no longer be around to stick his nose in my business.
After the ridicule, after the embarrassment, after the beatings, it's my chance to meet Brad West one-on-one at Reawakening. I can't go into Reawakening expecting to out-wrestle Brad West. But I can go into Reawakening expecting to fight him. And I hope Brad West is ready for the fight of his life.
You bring it! You bring your bodyguard! You bring everything you've got! You bring it all! And I will see you at Reawakening!